Hello, everybody. Welcome to another enlightening episode of Powerful Views, where we explore themes that offer us profound insights for our daily lives. I'm your host, Karan Gandhi. In our 27th episode, I'm going to talk about 7 takeaways from talking to strangers, written by Malcolm Gladwell. He is known for uncovering hidden patterns in everyday life, and Talking to Strangers is one of his boldest works yet. The book explores cases where interactions between strangers went terribly wrong, from police encounters to high profile scandals. And Gladwell asked the uncomfortable question: are we really equipped to judge the intentions, emotions, and honesty of people we do not know? His answer is a clear no. The book is emotional, insightful, and at times uncomfortable. But more importantly, it forces us to rethink how we approach new people, not with suspicion, but with humility. Now, let's dive into the top takeaways. Takeaway 1: default to truth. Humans are wired to trust first. Gladwell introduces Tim Levine's truth default theory, which states that people are naturally inclined to believe others, even strangers, unless the evidence against them is overwhelming. For example, Bernie Madoff fooled banks, regulators, experts, and intelligent people for decades. Why? Because everybody defaulted to truth. They assumed honesty until proven otherwise. Gladwell argues that while this makes us vulnerable, it is also what allows society to function. But awareness is key. Sometimes being a little skeptical can protect you from big mistakes. Takeaway 2: transparency is a myth. People's behavior doesn't always match their emotions. We assume we can read a person based on their expressions, tone, or body language. But Gladwell shows that this assumption is dangerously flawed. For example, Amanda Knox was accused of murder partly because her behavior during questioning seemed strange to investigators. But she simply had a different way of expressing stress, a mismatch that led to wrongful suspicion. Lesson: don't judge sincerity by appearance. Some liars don't look honest. Some honest people look guilty. Takeaway 3: context is everything. Without it, we misjudge strangers. Gladwell explains that understanding someone requires understanding their environment, background, and circumstances. For example, Neville Chamberlain famously misread Hitler because he relied on superficial signals, handshakes, smiles, face to face meetings, instead of actual geopolitical content. He believed Hitler was trustworthy. History proved otherwise. Takeaway: context gives meaning to behavior. Without it, judgment is incomplete. Takeaway 4: simple interactions can escalate when assumptions replace understanding. One of the most heartbreaking stories in the book is the arrest of Sandra Bland, which Gladwell uses to show how miscommunication between strangers can escalate unnecessarily. A simple traffic stop turned into a confrontation, then an arrest, then tragedy. Why? Because both sides misread intentions and assumptions fill the gaps. Gladwell urges us to approach interactions with strangers with patience and humility, not certainty. Takeaway 5: coupling. Behavior depends on place and situation. We often think people behave the same everywhere, but Gladwell shows that this isn't true. Behavior is coupled to context. For example, suicide rates in certain places drop dramatically when access to certain means is removed. People don't just switch methods. Behavior is tied to environment. This is a powerful lesson in leadership, parenting, and relationships. Change the environment, and you can change behavior. Takeaway 6: miscommunication is the rule, not the exception. Gladwell argues that we vastly overestimate our ability to communicate clearly, especially with strangers. The odds of getting someone entirely wrong are quite actually high. For example, the CIA failed for years to detect that multiple Cuban agents were working inside US intelligence. The agents didn't fit the stereotype of a spy, so they went unnoticed. The takeaway is humbling. Even trained professionals misread strangers regularly. So, in our daily lives, humility becomes an essential tool. Takeaway 7. Approach strangers with humility, not overconfidence. The central message of the book is that we need a new attitude when meeting people we don't know. Not fear, not suspicion, not blind trust, but humility. Humility means being open to the idea that you might be wrong. You might be missing content, and the other person's signals may not mean what you think they mean. For example, imagine interviewing someone who seems nervous. Instead of assuming dishonesty, humility lets you consider that they might be anxious, insecure, or inexperienced. This shift can change conversations, relationships, and even outcomes in everyday life. So, there you have it. Talking to strangers is a powerful exploration of how easily we misunderstand the people we don't know and how costly those misunderstandings can be. Malcolm Gladwell isn't telling us to stop talking to strangers, he's urging us to do it better, with more context, more empathy, more awareness of our biases, and above all, more humility. If you ever wondered why people act the way they do, this book will hit home. Remember, strangers are not puzzles to solve, but humans to understand. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Powerful Views. If you appreciate this content, please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. Until next time, I'm your host, Karan Gandhi, signing off for the day. Keep safe and stay happy.